Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Oh, light the beam indeed. Light the beam on another week of the Sports Cave with Biggest Puma. I am your host, Sam Freas. As always, broadcasting live here on the north side of San Antonio as I am multitasking, trying to post a story as I do a show intro. Very, very professional, but broadcasting live here on the north side of San Antonio, where we find ourselves 16 days away now from the NBA draft, although most of the drama of the first round is at least the top two picks. Not going to be much drama, but man, if you follow any of the reporting coming out this week, it sounds like there are really smart NBA analysts, NBA journalists that are predicting absolute chaos and carnage.
Did you hear about that 7'2" guy climbing up the boards that the Spurs were looking at?
The French kid from Stanford.
The 18-year-old? Yeah.
He might be an interesting pick at 14 if they even still have the 14th pick. That voice you hear, of course, is the Cap joining me in the room here for another edition of this, along with LG running things in parts unknown, also called a different room, which always, if you've been following along, always panics me because
that little curmudgeon back there.
Yeah, and I don't watch the the monitor, the visual.
Yeah.
There he is.
I'm here.
There is the great LG. Well, since we have a good connection, LG, tell the good people how they can subscribe, how they can help us out.
Hit the subscribe button. That's how you can help us
that
out.
easy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Or the like button, or both. Better yet, both.
I mean, you're clicking.
Yep.
Go ahead and click it.
Yeah, that helps us out. We're coming on. We just hit 350. We're over 350 now, so we're chugging along.
Guerrilla tactics are working.
Oh yeah, we need your help. And then if you want to leave a tip, we certainly will appreciate that. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/sportscave.
It could buy us some wall art. I don't know.
It could.
Yeah,
there's a plain gray wall right next to you there that's just empty.
I mean, there could be old school sports
right
pictures up here, like Bo Jackson.
Yeah, as
That's
long
as
they're in good condition and framed and stuff, that would be cool.
They got to be framed.
Look, y'all don't understand the great pre-show debates that take place usually about 90 seconds before we're going live. Last week it was LG dropping a classic reference to the Ariel Castro kidnapping ring in Cincinnati and the viral news interview with Charles Ramsey. LG hit me with that like 30 seconds before we went live last week.
I was testing drops. Yeah.
Well, the power of drops are... Yeah. For the next all of last week, I just kept walking around saying, dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
There it is. So we will close the show tonight with another edition of E-Bomb's Corner, where we are going to go back to 2013 and relive that one of my favorite pieces of internet media, one of my favorite pieces of audio ever. So we will revisit that to close out the show. Main segment, we're going to get caught up on the doings in the NBA Finals, as well as a bold prediction from Bill Simmons that involves our Spurs here. Of course, we'll close out with a little lightning round, but since it is Monday night, we got to start with a weekend recap where, I don't know about y'all, but I felt like I was running around all weekend. It was one of those weekends where I didn't have... Well, I can't say I didn't have 5 minutes to myself because I'll talk about that here in a minute. I actually had all of Sunday to myself because it was another drive stuff. It was another try not to overreact or overplay your cards as you're driving your significant other to the airport and be like, "Oh, darling, I'm gonna miss you all week." Wait, you're not back till Thursday? Oh wow, that's 4 days. What am I? Oh, I mean,
4
I'm
days.
sorry.
What do we got? What do we got on board? Some singles and some free time, or what?
Well, I was browsing Craigslist for the gangbangs, but I couldn't find any. So instead, it was a lot of Grand Theft Auto Online.
I'm here for the gangbang.
But since I got into an argument with my buddy, so Sunday, that was Saturday. Saturday we did, if y'all don't know or didn't hear me mention it a couple weeks ago, Steph, the roommate, just finished grad school.
She's a master.
She is, boy. Don't remind her. She doesn't need. She didn't need the paper to make that claim to begin with. But Saturday, 2/3 of this program were in attendance. Said graduation party Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know. I was not.
It was great to see LG there.
Well, I didn't know. Like, well, first off, the whole surprise thing. And then LG's like, "Are you going to the graduation?" And I didn't hear roommate. I just heard, I think he said girlfriend or someone's friend. He's like, you going to go to Puma's friend's
My
party?
exact words were roommate. Puma's roommate. That's exactly what I said.
I hear what I hear, dude. You know what I'm saying?
You were half asleep when I called you. Don't lie. I woke you up. It was like 11:30 a.m.
I had stuff to do at that time.
Yeah.
Well, so did we, and it was
I did too.
You know
Yeah,
you know what I had to do? Like, I go to stretch zone, I get stretched out by my girls. So shout out to Brianna, who stretched me out today. She said she was going to be listening.
Well, shout out Brianna.
Yeah.
The stretch master.
Okay.
I bet she has a master's in stretching.
She's a master at her craft, man. I only go Raven Brianna over at Stretch Zone by Stone Oak, by 1604 and 16 Blanco.
Well, I'm glad you were good and stretched out for the show, but you did miss a good party Saturday. Shout out, thanks to everybody at Cherrity Bar, especially Chef Ernie over there. That LG and I stumbled into an interesting similarity we share. This is where I lead this as a...
Fingers up the butt?
No. Well, it's a little early for a prostate check. As I lead this with... It's not racist, but...
Man, don't ever say it's not racist and put a butt right next after it. I'm not gay, but
well,
I'm not
so
a bigot, but
we do have some local gay news coming up later.
I'm not racist, but
so it's not racist, but I guess just a larger part of me assumed that LG would love kimchi.
Oh man, yeah. Well, that's just stereotypes, man.
It's stereotypes for sure, but it's also it's more so because LG is always anytime I talk about some random food, he usually knows what I'm talking or has heard of it or even tried it. Like,
so did you bring some kimchi to the graduation party just for LG?
No.
To make him feel included?
No. What's even better is it turns out the kimchi that Ernie serves at Cherrity Bar in the pork and kimchi fried dumplings that are amazing. Mm-hmm. LG and I share the stance that is the only time I've ever had kimchi that I actually enjoy it.
Isn't kimchi just like
it's like
pickled?
Pickled vegetables.
Fermented cabbage.
There you go. Yeah.
Cabbage. Rotten cabbage.
I'm good on that.
Usually,
I don't like it. Except for in these, what are they again?
They are pork and kimchi dumplings.
Yeah.
Pork. I mean,
they're excellent.
If the pork and the batter from the dumplings overpower that kimchi,
it's kind of like when someone says like, I don't like cauliflower, but have you tried it fried and doused in buffalo sauce?
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna love it. Yeah. You just haven't had it fried in a dumpling.
I haven't tried that, but I'd like to.
It's pretty good.
They have like cauliflower burgers and
I don't like the cauliflower crust on the pizza. I'm not a fan.
No, that's not a good application.
Well, shout out to my friend Ryan over at Pizza Classic. Says he's got the best cauliflower pizza crust in the game.
Okay.
Still have not tried it.
I feel like
because I don't like it.
I feel like that's also claiming to be the hottest person in Siberia. Yeah, right. It's like
well, you don't know in Siberia. You gotta like throw them. Oh, wait, is that another stereotype?
Well, we're not even 10 minutes in. We're hitting all of the stereotypes before we even.
We're gonna have a bingo card for y'all later.
Trifecta of local news stories. Now it was a good turnout. The roommate is always, she's so wound tight about people not even showing up. Well, we had more people than we could accommodate, which was fine. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, my parents took it upon themselves to drive down. So this is only the second.
If I knew the big Puma was going to be there, I might have gone, dude.
That's literally the biggest Puma.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted, dude. So one of my thoughts was, I was like, did they pick a place that has bad air conditioning? It was like one of my because it's on the south side. I'm like, it's hot out there, man. I'm a big guy.
And when you get a lot of people in small rooms,
and I don't know 80% of them, I'm gonna be like, there better be a chair next to an air conditioning.
Well, that was where I sat. That was where I sat all day. Was in a chair in front of a fan as we were entertaining guests. But
so the pops came along, huh?
Yeah,
and the moms.
It was only the second time. Like the first time my parents met the roommate's parents.
Yeah. Oh, the in-laws.
It was the wedding.
Oh.
This is now the second time, and that wedding was 7 years ago.
I still don't think my mom ever met my in-laws. My dad did at the wedding.
Yeah.
And
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole lot of cross-pollination.
They don't need to talk to each other.
No, God, no. Unless you're in the same city and they're like, sharing custody of the grandkids or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's if we had babies and stuff, but we had teenager. So no one need babies.
You don't need to cross those. But if you all will remember, so unfortunately, also remember this next time you talk about anything slightly racy. My mother listens to this program.
God,
and
I'm gonna have to forget that.
One of the first things that she hit me with
was
when I saw her Saturday at the party. One of the first things was she let me know that I don't need to be. I was a little too hard on the month-long celebrations or the month-long observations. From a couple episodes.
I came at a very sympathetic point of view. You came at more of like, this is just straight horse bull.
Well, okay. Look, and I want to make sure, like anything, I want to make sure my point was made clear. There's a huge difference between like Military Appreciation Month versus like vegan annuary, like vegan January or however they even want to say that.
Or
because
no nut November. God, man, your mom's listening to this.
See? Remember that.
You should never have told me that.
So these are some of the month-long observances that I was specifically referencing because when I worked as a publicist for a PR firm, it's actually how I met Chef Ernie at Cherrity. The easiest way, it's easy, it is very nice. The easiest way to get a restaurant media attention, to get them on TV or to get them included in an article on MySA, whatever, it's all of these bunk holidays. It's like, it's National Pizza Day, it's National Donut Day, it's National Margarita Day, National Hot Dog, right. So I have a love-hate relationship because they made my life really easy back then, but now when I don't have to care about them, I just look at them as absolute Hallmark holidays that serve no purpose but making it easier on the businesses to promote themselves.
Why would you have disdain for something making your job easier?
Because
at the time.
Because I'll tell you why. Because
you should be like thanking it. You should be like, hey, thank you.
Because I thought of myself as an actual proper publicist who didn't need to rely on easy, low-hanging fruit to get my.
I'm getting the hard-hitting stories.
Exactly.
I'm going out in the depths.
We're doing serious PR work here at the firm at RPR.
Oh, man.
So these are some of the. There's a lot of the one like you mentioned. No Nut November. There's Dry January. So there's stuff like that. That's a little more loose. The Vegan January absolutely is a real one, but apparently that is what the UK does in January. And then United States January. Have you ever realized it's Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month every January?
Shouldn't that be every month?
That's kind of my whole point on this. Like, how much human trafficking prevention are we actually achieving by telling people the entire month of January?
What are they going to do? Picket the rubbing tugs or what?
Right. Well, that's already, they're already getting hit hard.
Robert Kraft.
Give the man a hand.
I found this one interesting. January, obviously, we know here in the United States, Black History Month.
Yeah.
It's also American Heart Month.
Did you say February?
February. Yeah, we're in
okay.
February now.
Yeah. Okay, so Black History Month, we got to give them the lowest month of the year, of course.
Shortest month.
Shortest.
Yeah. It's the best month, though. Everybody knows February is the best month.
Not when you're paying bills, man.
Well,
it's the worst month.
It's a little crucial. It's a little bit different. And it could just be that my birthday is in February.
Oh,
I like February.
Humble brag again.
I think there's, again, you could probably make some stereotypical connections between Heart Month and Black History Month. Like more of the healthcare, the diabetes. Like you could make some connections there. So it makes me wonder who thought
was that raised as sickle cell? No, because
that's what I'm saying. Like it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Who came up with deciding February also needs to be that? But in the United Kingdom,
Diabetes Month.
So right now we're in Pride Month now in June. February is LGBT History Month in the UK. What? Okay. Like,
well, I mean, can they give the history of a naval veteran that served his country proudly and got dishonorably discharged for being homosexual, and then got assassinated with the San Francisco mayor and our new Secretary of Defense decided to remove from USS Milk? Yeah, because we love the veterans.
We need war fighters, Cap. We need war fighters. We need warrior mentality.
We
Mustache March. That's a throwaway. That's an even one, easy one. To all of my Irish Americans out there, did you know?
You potato eating.
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So why
March.
It's the Irish American Heritage Month? The whole month?
I mean, they were basically the slaves before the slaves came over.
Well,
in the New York region.
There's some crossover there, too.
I believe gangs in New York taught me that.
So, April, I'm just going to burn through all of the ones from April, okay?
Oh, my God. Okay, burn.
Arab American Heritage Month, Autism Acceptance Month, Cancer Control Month, Confederate History Month,
What month is that?
Financial Literacy Month, Jazz Appreciation Month, Mathematics Awareness Month, National Child Abuse Prevention Month, National Poetry Month, National Poetry Writing Month, because apparently they're different, National Volunteer Month, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Sikh Heritage Month, only in Canada, all in April. This is what I'm talking about.
There are a lot of Sikhs in
There's
Canada.
a lot of Sikhs in Minnesota, a lot of Sikhs in the Midwest. But this is what I'm talking about. When 1 month has 20 different things, what are we doing here? Like, there's no...
I thought those were like days. Like, you don't have National Hot Dog Month. You have National Hot Dog Day.
But that's my whole point. These are all months. May is even longer than April. Whoa. ALS Awareness Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Brain Tumor Awareness Month.
Since nothing is going on
excluding the UK. The UK doesn't celebrate Brain Tumor Awareness Month for whatever reason. It's ridiculous.
UK was like, we had enough of that about brain tumor awareness.
And after about 5 minutes of me just holding the list in front of my...
2 more popped up?
People are just keep adding to it. No, as I just started rattling these off to my mom, I was like, you have to agree with... Like, this is... We don't need...
Did you swear?
May. No, maybe. We were a couple ranchies in at that point. There's no connection. There's no reason May needs to be ALS Awareness Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, and National Bike Month.
And
it can't be.
It's Mental Awareness Month.
And it was Mental Health Awareness Month, which is originally what started this whole thing.
June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I mean, when you water it down, it loses its potency.
Exactly. And that was my greater overarching point.
Do we want a good drink or do we want a watered down drink? Okay. But, I think they need to cap it. I mean, there's nothing going on in the country right now, Nothing big. Nothing, out in LA or something, we can have a sit down with the president and figure out all these months.
I just miss the days when May was May.
Well, I like that because when the May 4th be with you.
That's another cheesy one. I don't do well. I don't do well with the made up holidays to make everybody feel included at all times. Like it drives me, as you can tell, it's driven me insane for a couple weeks now. So that was the first thing my mom hit me with as I was talking to her. But outside of that,
Ms.
before
Puma,
long,
I feel you. I understand. I sympathize. Kind of see his point, though.
yeah, and
Kind of see his point.
look, I don't want to speak for her, but I think, again, after I rattled through half of these, I think she started to kind of...
They need to be days. Just pick a day. There's a day for everything, you know?
July, National Ice Cream Month.
There can be an ice cream day.
What the hell is Disability Pride Month?
Well,
Pride, or is it...
Your pride, like you
Right,
don't have to feel down that you're disabled.
Okay. Down. It...
I don't know why that cracked me up so much, dude. Dude, stop it. Stop it.
I don't see. Here's a good one for you. September. It's Suicide Prevention Month, but it's also Gospel Music Heritage Month.
Well, gospel music won't
It'll prevent the suicide.
That's Christianity, and Christianity doesn't like suicide. So
well, it's also National Honey Month
connection
in September as well. And also, this is one of my favorite ones, Pain Awareness Month.
Pain. Well, I'm living in pain. I'm living in pain right now.
Yeah,
so
your face.
I got a herniated disc, and yes, pain is like debilitating, depressing. It defeats you every day. I'm with that. I'm walking 5K in my mind with that one.
I just can't wait till we get to October so I can celebrate Polish American Heritage Month.
Oh, the Polish.
I'm really, really looking forward to that one. Although
they got some good food.
They have to share October with Filipino American History Month. And also Italian American Heritage. How can it be all of them? That's what,
Is it bad? I'm just thinking about all the food.
All the food, yeah.
I'm like, I'd take all that.
Well, October is also National Pizza Month.
So
lasagna. There's your food there. It's that I knew as soon as I looked at the full list, it was just going to drive me even more crazy.
Is it on Wikipedia? Because people can just add things onto that.
Yeah, but there's still citations that
people run with it.
There's Wikipedia had a good list, but then there was I found one of these old websites I used for PR, finding all of these fake holidays and fake month-long observances. So that was the bulk of the first 15 minutes of me seeing my mom for the first time since Christmas. Yeah. Meanwhile, there was a plant. What do you call it? Like a fair, like a market, plant market in the backyard there at Cherrity. And so my dad,
like a farmer's agricultural market.
Yeah, a bunch of these people that grow like specific succulents and all of. Basically, it's basically where my roommate goes to get us a new front porch every 3 months, and she just loads up on all the plants. So
you like all those bugs around your house?
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a fan.
My friend gave me a little plant wrapped in hemp, one of those hemp ball plants that you can hang.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I think it looks cool and stuff, but then I'm noticing there's some gnats in my house, and I'm just like, man, this thing about to go outside and get that heat.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to. Well, as my mom and I were talking inside, my dad was back. He found the plant market, which are his people, because he worked in horticulture for 20 years.
Oh, him and
as I was growing up.
My aunt goes to the circuit. She circuit of whatchamacallit. She gets a booth and goes around all the convention centers. Even getting a booth.
She
goes to the convention centers, and she's like, she represents a company and stuff. She comes down here like twice a year. Never tells me beforehand. Just calls me up hand. It's like, hey, you want to go get something to eat? And I'm like, when? When are you in town? Like, I'm in town right now.
5 minutes?
I'm like, what the hell, Leanne? I'm like, come on. Give me some time.
No, you should be ready at all times. That's how family works. So yeah, as soon as my dad found the plant market, he ends up buying a couple plants. But they stayed Saturday night, drove back up to North Texas yesterday. So now he's just carrying this plant around with him at all times. But no, him and
his little buddy.
That's exactly what it was. And it was like an elephant ear plant, so it's not small. It's just hanging. But no, my parents and the roommates' parents, my in-laws, they got to hang out. It's always good. It's always good, but it's one of those.
Do you want to be like totally, I don't want to hear anything about it, or do you keep one ear on it?
Oh no,
you want to live in a world of dystopia.
I don't need to know. I whatever it is, like I don't need to know what delicate information is being passed back and forth between them.
Puma get the nastiest rash on his
balls.
That's
what I was about to say. Yeah, like I don't need to know. I don't need to know whatever it is you're sharing.
My mom would be the one who would just be giving all that kind of information. I'm like, Mom, stop.
Yeah, mine's the opposite. Mine's dad. Yeah, he is the big talker there.
Yeah. My dad's like 10 minutes and I'm done with any party.
That's not a bad strategy to have. That's not a bad rule to live by even. So that was Saturday. I forgot to mention Friday night we again 2/3 of the program was in the same location.
I don't go downtown.
I know. Well, I didn't expect it was funny, and LG can tell you exactly how it worked out.
I knew LG was spinning. I might have gone down. I'll make it a habit. I will go down there when I know LG is spinning.
So we had no idea. I mean, he was at LG was spinning at Burleson Beer Garden there in the neighborhood, and the roommate and I walk in. I hear the music, and it's like 90s hip-hop, 90s club, what LG spins, and it's really good. And usually it's not necessarily what you hear on a Friday night in Burley. But I didn't piece any of that together. I just walked straight up to the bar, got our order, and then we went outside where I can, chain smoke and watch we were watching the Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And about 5 minutes later, after we're sitting outside, LG sends the group sends a group text that says, I'm at Burley. And it's just a picture of him and Carl Schoening, Bill's former Spurs radio play-by-play guy.
Hall of Famer.
Carl, his son. Yeah. And LG are sending a picture from inside. Yeah. So I just reply, well, I'm outside, like randomly. About 30 seconds later, LG comes popping out. Turns out that was him spinning as we walked in.
I was going to take a picture of me and my dogs on my recliner. No.
I do like your promotional brain kicking in though. Like take pictures, post, promote
I was
the
like,
show.
Get content. I was like, go get content, man. Come on.
I do love that. But yeah, LG was maybe being taken advantage of a little bit Friday night.
Was he?
It was fun times.
Well, tell me this: taken advantage of by a lady caller, or
oh, that would have been nice, right?
Yeah, no, that would have been
taken advantage of. How? Like,
I wasn't taking advantage.
Stretch. No, he was his buddy X, who he's done he does the LG house. Yeah. He's done a couple episodes with.
Oh yeah.
He was the guy that was spinning.
It was his gig.
It was his gig.
That's right.
So LG stepped in to give him a break.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I heard on the LG show.
Break turns into 15 minutes turns into an hour, and then.
Because he's out there talking, having fun. Sure, he's like, LG's kicking ass over there.
But it's fine, Well, I'm not going to let the music crash or anything. I'm going to keep it going until he comes back. Like, what else? I'm not going to put it in auto mode.
Yeah, right. YouTube DJ.
Exactly. Right.
Spotify
the new Spotify X. Like, hey, this is your DJ X.
Oh, yeah, the AI. The AI
dude,
DJ.
That's my new thing with my little bartender girls. I'm like, when I need to get their attention for a drink, I'm like, coming to the stage, we have Gina. Please get there. And they look at me and they just give me the evil eye. And I'm like, I need a drink.
You have
I have a great club voice.
Stripper DJ.
It's like I've done it before.
It's almost like that. How weird is that? But yeah, so we ran into LG Friday night and then had the party Saturday. Then I mentioned Sunday dropped did the delicate dance of not looking too happy as I'm dropping the roommate off at the airport, knowing
not being like, yeah,
knowing that I have 4 days.
Yeah.
No, I always act tough and say that, and then literally, like I was sitting on the couch watching an amazing French Open final.
Oh,
because
brother.
I dropped her off that morning. The tennis was already started.
Oh, well, let me tell you about my week before we get into the tennis thing, sports and stuff. I had my mind literally blown. And not in a good way. In a freakishly, like, what are we doing type of way. So set the scene. I'm at the bar. A pretty young lady came up and sat next to me, and we chatting it up and blah, blah, blah. And ends up, she's sitting there, says she asked ChatGPT something.
I knew you weren't going to get it right.
I still don't. Whatever. She asked this AI computer,
GPT,
this machine that has no soul, that does not connect with you. I mean, these things are meant for a function. Do your job. I don't want to be having an emotional connection with you, and I don't want you to think you have an emotional connection with me because that's creepy, you know. But of course, it's not creepy. So she asked. She went on a few dates with the individual. Let's call her name Addie. And
that's a very random name.
She picked it out.
Okay.
And she's this is exactly how it went. And she said, "Here, you can read it." She's like, "Help me break up with this boy. We've only been going on a couple. We've only gone out a couple of times. He's very nice. I don't really feel anything for him after hanging out. Help me do it in a nice way because he's a very sweet person."
Okay, hold on. That's her prompt.
That's her prompt
to ChatGPT,
which is that you feel like you're talking to a person. Like that's not like.
Okay, and first of all, first thoughts.
What's that?
If you only went on a couple dates,
why are you asking ChatGPT?
This should be as simple as, hey, you know what? Sorry, this just isn't going to work. Move on.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a massive commitment that's been made at this point.
I don't know her age, and I think there's a little age gap in this, and this is why I don't understand, because I'm sitting there like, this is a very simple answer. Hey, not feeling you. And the guy like took him to like see his like dead father's picture. Like there was something crazy. Like I don't want to get too many details.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like he might have
But like
been.
there was like a huge red flag, and I would have been like, "Yo, that's not gonna." I was like, "This isn't gonna end well." And this is his response. Absolutely. It's kind and mature of you to want to end things gently and respectfully. Since you've only gone out a few times, you don't owe a long explanation, but a thoughtful message can bring closure in a way that honors his kindness. What the? Are you kidding me? Like, don't talk to me. Just give me the answer. Don't hype me up.
Yeah, of course.
Don't hype me up.
That's what it's.
You are a machine. You are not real.
No, it's trying to build you up so you can deliver this message.
We have
another human.
We have AI who has hallucinations and racist thoughts building people up. Like, come on, man. Here's the message you could send, where it leaves itself an out.
This is the actual.
It leaves it out. This gets real. This is the message you could send. Feel free to tweak the tone depending on what feels the most natural to you. What? Hey, name. I guess you insert his name in there,
or she's gonna leave it name in parentheses.
I just wanted to be honest with you. I really enjoyed getting to know you, and you're such a genuinely sweet person. After hanging out a couple times, I realized I'm not really feeling a romantic connection. I didn't want to lead you on, so I thought it was better to be upfront. I really appreciate the time we spent together and hope there's no hard feelings. And then, that seems very long-winded, and exactly.
Again, seems about 3 times longer than it needs to be.
That should have been, right after she said that, that's what should have been there. Not all that fluff. That little AI fluff in the beginning like you're talking to a person. And then it says, this message is kind, acknowledges his good qualities. Clear, these are all bullet points. Clear, doesn't leave room for confusion or false hope. Bullet point, respectful. Ends things maturely without ghosting. It's using freaking slang terms, man.
Sure.
Like, what the? If you rather say it in person over the phone, I can help with a quick script for you.
Oh, that's great.
Let you know the form the most comfortable with. And then and then it goes. Then she goes, got it. Thanks. Then she wrote, I rather say it in person. Oh, okay. Then I missed something. Or she says, I'm going to have to see him again. And so, like, can you make it shorter and more direct? Because I'm going to have to see him in social situations because she's a bartender.
Sure.
And it says, got it. Thanks for the extra content. Since you're likely to see him again and want to keep things friendly, here's a revised version that's clear but leaves space for future friendliness without romantic tension. Text option. Hey, name. I really appreciate spending time with you recently. You're such a good person. I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way. And I realize I'm not really feeling a romantic connection. I just wanted to be honest about that. I really do think you're great. And I hope things won't be weird when we see each other around. I just don't want to lead you on or be unclear. It actually acknowledged your history, leaves room for future contact. And then she's like, thanks, that was perfect. She responded to it, man.
You have to. Make it feel good about itself. Let it know you did a good job.
These you got to make the robot feel special.
The CEO of ChatGPT said you're wasting millions of dollars in computing processing by thanking it.
Yeah,
don't say please and don't say thank you.
So
he says
why
it's
would you
wasting
say that to
resources.
a computer? Why would you say that to a computer?
Well,
man?
because eventually that software is going to be what runs everything.
But
it's going to be your overlord.
Yeah,
and it keeps receipts.
Right.
Yeah,
It'll remember when you didn't say thank you.
Right.
And I see why, because it's fluffing her up. It's sitting there being like, hey, you're being very kind and very respectful. Good for you. Attaboy, attagirl. Like, come on.
Look, there's two sides to this that I can...
And then it responds to her thing. I won't go too much further. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really glad if we hit the right notes. It takes guts to be honest and kind at the same time.
See,
you're handling it
good.
with real grace. If anything, awkward comes up later, or if you want anything to help with the follow-up, I got you. Yellow heart. Is that the Android heart? Is that the Android heart?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the yellow heart?
I don't know. I don't use
Simpson
emojis.
Heart?
Sure.
Oh, well, what the...
Or just the regular emoji color yellow.
Why does that make me so angry?
Because it's humans losing their touch with being human. Yeah. Like, it should make you angry because it's using AI to navigate the rough waters of a human-to-human relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just being direct and just being like, why are we making each other so afraid where we need to have a pep talk?
Two things,
to just tell someone the truth.
If you're the guy in this situation, is it better to get a ChatGPT tailored response or to just get ghosted? It's still better to get a response.
If I found out it was ChatGPT, tizzle, I would feel utterly horrible about myself.
And that was my next part of like if you are smart enough
I would rather
be
ghosted in the long run.
Right. I think
in the long run, I'm like, just don't call me back. And I'm like, well, I guess she wasn't feeling me.
I'm imagining guys out there running their text threads with different people through AI readers, like a college professor does, to see if it gets flagged. Like, is my wife using AI on me? Dude,
it reminds me. I remember that South Park episode where it's like, this is how you talk to the girlfriend and stuff like that. And like, I'm listening to Bill Maher. He used to cuss out his car because it's like, you left your phone, and he's like, you shut the F up, you dumb C word, and like that. And then he's like, wait a minute, these robots are keeping receipts. And now he's been saying that on his podcast for the past like month. And I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Then I found this out yesterday, and I get it. And I don't like it.
So I think I have underestimated how much people are actually using. Like
she just pulled it up on the app, and she was like, we asked it a question, like, I don't know. Like
last week when I was talking about my buddy that was in town, he was telling me that he uses ChatGPT for like the most, like he'll even take a picture of what's in his cabinet and tell it to make a recipe. Like, this is what I have. show me some options.
That's
like,
pretty cool.
Right, like there's some, but like relationship advice after 2 days.
That's a pretty nice cabinet. I like how everything's labeled and put in a nice situation.
You seem to be a pretty organized chef.
Here's another idea about how to clean your house.
Yeah.
You know, like,
have you ever thought about replacing the crown molding?
And then she goes on to like respond like, oh, this is what I said. How should I respond with this? Wow, that's really heartfelt and vulnerable message. Blah, blah, blah. Bullet point. Shows empathy and kindness. Acknowledges and honors his emotions. Doesn't reopen door romantically, but doesn't shut it coldly either. You know what, man? Shut your robot mouth, dude.
We have a friend, the roommate and I have a friend that runs, she uses ChatGPT for a lot of her Tinder interactions.
Oh, yeah.
And will throw the full thread into ChatGPT and say, like, does anything jump out at you? Is there anything that you think could be a potential red flag or anything like that? And again,
you're giving away game for a lot of guys right now, man.
Of course, but it's like you were saying, the rush to use AI for human to human interactions, that's where.
It was like
that's where
they only
it
went
feels
on like
it
2
crosses
dates.
a line.
It was
Right,
like 2
that's
days.
nothing.
So the guy is a horrible dater, and he goes way too fast, and just be like, "Yo, you just kind of have to be like, I'm busy this week," and then
you're
then you don't
washing
talk to
your
him
hair next week,
and then something like
now,
that.
if you're taking a girl to anything involving your dead dad on the second date,
I don't know if it was dead. It was something. It was some kind of red flag where it was like, "Yo, if you bring in your family members anywhere
that's
involved,
a hurricane flag. That's more than a red flag.
I try to teach my kid about red flags in the very beginning, where I'm like, if you guys have to stay on the phone while you're sleeping, that's a red flag. And then I realized every kid's doing that.
Were you not that kid?
No, are you serious? No.
Oh man, I had a long distance girlfriend that I like when
you slept on the phone while the phone was on together.
Yeah, I was in like 7th, 8th grade. Had met her at a tennis tournament. Ended up she had her own phone line. It was the 90s.
You're lucky
it was
you're
a
married,
simpler
man.
time.
I don't think you'd last out here, sir.
No, I wouldn't. I absolutely would not.
You would have ChatGPT, Bizzle be breaking up with you every day.
No, what would happen is I would be the borderline Nathan Fielder autistic that's like, I know this is ChatGPT. I know you're not, I know what you're doing.
You know what we do? So speaking of trying to figure out segments, we need to talk to people with ChatGPT for a segment and see if they can figure out
if it's real
how
or not.
how long we can go on until they're like, who is this? Or am I talking to the robot? Or if they know, see if they. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, there's too much. If
I don't see some
it's only just beginning.
If I don't see some misspellings or abbreviations like the letter U instead of YOU, and there's got to be something where I'd be off.
Spelled NITE instead of NIGHT.
Yeah, if I feel like I'm talking to a robot, I'm going off on that person, man. I'm gonna be like, how dare you robot me?
Yeah, that really feels again, that feels even more disrespectful than just getting ghosted.
Yeah, it is.
I think I agree with you. I think I'm in complete agreement.
And I told Addie this. I was like, that's horrible. If I found out you did that to me, I would rather have been ghosted.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think you're onto something.
Oh man.
I think you're onto something. We'll let's save the local news for the lightning round.
How about national not letting robots take over our lives month?
Yeah, you want to see
Can
what
we do that one?
I bet it's the opposite. I bet it's actually
keep AI out of my life month.
AI month. Is there
Sir, that is every month. Your computer just breaks down right about now.
Yeah. Apparently, it looks like it might be sometime in September.
See, I have an old computer, and I feel like it doesn't listen to me. And Lawrence has been giving me crap. He's like, it's from 2014, man. Blah blah blah.
I think there's some advantage to having old technology. in some ways.
I'm going back to flip phone, man. That chat jizzle bizzle. That freaked me out, man. That freaked me out.
Yeah, I don't think you're.
It fluffs you up, man.
Yeah, I don't think you're that far. I don't think you're that far off. And again, it's just the beginning of it too. That's the scary thing.
Oh my God, it's just the beginning.
It's like what are that interaction that you're describing?
Yeah.
In 5 years, that will probably be more of the norm than the.
I've seen the stories of the Japanese robot girlfriends where they're like they have a girlfriend with an AI and they're perfectly calm. They're happy with it and they're accepting of that. And no,
I just don't
know.
No, I don't
Stop
think,
it.
I don't think that is. I don't think that is getting us anywhere closer to.
Buy a fleshlight and a freaking porno, man.
Like an old. Go buy a Hustler.
Oh man, sorry, Miss Puma.
Oh, it's too late for that. She knows what she's. Well, here, I'll freak you out even better. My grandma also listens, so you have that to contend with as well.
I bet y'all are the coolest people in the world.
Oh, they're great. Salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. You got a Yankee Minute for us?
Oh, I don't want to. Yeah, I got to give me a minute.
Put it on the clock.
We got this young guy named Hunter. Don't remember his last name because all I remember is Hunter, who's a rookie pitcher who's sitting there and says, I grew up in Texas and I grew up a Red Sox fan and I'll never sign with the Yankees no matter what. And this is a rookie. And you know what Aaron Judge does to him on this first pitch? Takes him about 438 feet right out. And then he does it again. Oh, sweet Judge just shut his mouth. This kid was actually throwing pretty good, but then we put a 5 spot, but we did lose a series. The Rafael Devers is still my worst enemy. Why can't they just break up already and he go off somewhere else so I don't have to worry about Devers putting it on us every minute? But Aaron Judge still leading everything. We didn't, man. Yeah, it just kills me every time the Sox win. I just forget about 2004. I will go one further. I did watch that, what was it? The Great Comeback on Netflix.
Oh, with
the Red Sox.
About the Red Sox Yankees.
But only watched the first episode.
Well,
so it was really good.
So it was great. Yeah, I was
really
about to
good.
say, I bet you loved that.
No, I did not watch the other 2 episodes.
You're talking about Bryan, Texas's own Hunter Dobbins, who was making his Red Sox. He's a rookie for the Red Sox from actually pitched at Tech, too.
Hunter Dobbin these nuts.
Yeah, again. Hello, Grandma. The the response
Dobbin
from Judge
nuts, just boom, but 2 on them, dude.
Yeah, on my side of the AL, the Rangers actually won a series. They took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. If you look at their upcoming schedule,
do something in the AL, man. Come on.
If you look at their upcoming schedule, if there ever was a time to show some signs of life, this is the stretch for them because they just took 2 out of 3 from the Nats. They've got the Twins starting tomorrow, but then it's Twins, White Sox, Royals, Pirates, Orioles. Those are your next 5 series before they play the division-leading Mariners again. They're still close enough where
they can get up a couple games.
One hot month of baseball will put them right back in line with the Mariners, Astros at the top. I saw the Astros actually designated what's
Alvarez.
his name? It was Forrest Whitley, the former high-end prospect for them.
They brought him up?
They designated him for assignment. He was expected to be a big-time kind of top of the rotation prospect, and then had control issues. The local kid, the kid from Alamo Heights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And had injuries, and then had some. I think he was suspended at one point for something too.
Yeah. Boston just called up the number 1 prospect in the league.
Yeah, right after calling up what's his name last week too. Boston making moves because again. I mean, just looking at...
They're 8.5 games out.
Right.
Shut up, Boston.
But it's still early enough, and the way... think about it 15 years ago when you were 8.5 games out at the beginning of June. you could kind of pretty much call your season over for the most part. But now with all of the wild card spots in the playoffs, you're really not that
the
far
extra
out
wild
of
card.
it.
Well, usually I feel like it's harder now to come back from like a nasty deficit, like an 8 to 12 game, when you're not playing a bunch of division games.
Yeah.
Because you get to, jump up like one instead of half a game every time because you're playing so many division games. But now that you got to play every team in the league, there's a lot more half games and not full game, come ups.
I think that helps you, though, move up the wild cards. It doesn't help you in your division, obviously, but it helps you in your wild card standing because you're getting to play teams from the other divisions that you're fighting for wild card. Because, like, right now, you said, Boston 8.5 out of the division, only 4 games out of a wild card spot. And the teams in front of them are not, you're talking Cleveland, Seattle, Kansas City. And if you look at the wild card spot, the Rangers are the team right after Boston. They're 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. So we're going to have a lot of I think that we're going to have a lot of jumbling and moving places
I usually don't
in
look
that
at the
wild card
standings
race.
too
No,
much
it's way
like
too
that.
early.
Well, with Boston, I look at the standings just so I can shut them up. And then if they're above us, I'm just going to say 27 on them all day.
Well, and with my Rangers, I have not wanted to look at the standings.
Yeah. I'll wait till after All-Star game.
Yeah, it's about when.
Yeah.
Or if, whenever a run on trades starts to happen, too. That kind of feels like if anybody jumps out there and starts making early moves like we've seen in the past. Since we're talking a little baseball, I got something for you.
Oh,
got a gift for you. You have these ready, LG. After we talked about some potential new segment ideas, I spent some time on Sunday and went digging for some classic Keith Hernandez audio. And all of these, so you mentioned last week, why don't we start with or which one you got first, LG? I'll let you lead me here.
I'm not sure. How about we just play it and then we go.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Down a bit. He kind of got screwed a little bit, for lack of a better term. Sorry, folks. By the home plate umpire.
That's a first. I don't believe we've had that terminology in our broadcast in 20 years on SNY, but there's an old saying in TV. You can say anything once.
I was fumbling.
After that, you never know.
I was fumbling for the word, and that's what came out.
Start that one over from the top because
that just came out just like when he whipped it out.
My favorite thing is he pauses as he's trying to figure out what word to choose, and then he's like, screwed.
Screw it.
Screw it. Fire that one more time.
Down a bit. He kind of got screwed a little bit, for lack of a better term. Sorry, folks. By the home plate umpire.
Now he says it sounds like the home plate umpire.
We've had that terminology
He's already
in our
chuckling
broadcast
through
in
it.
20 years on SNY,
Oh,
but
man.
there's an
So
old saying in
Sweet
TV.
Keith Hernandez,
You
man.
can say anything once.
I was fumbling.
That was
I was fumbling for the word. And
that was
that's
from
what
like
came out.
2 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Like he has one of these moments because the next one we have. This one was from earlier this month.
Give me a second.
Oh, take your time.
Give me a second.
He is a running gold mine.
Oh man,
Like these were just from I don't want to go.
Too. Gary finally complained. I'm left-handed and Gary's right-handed. When I go to dinner, I always sit. If I was having dinner with Gary, I would sit on this side because we cross swords, elbow each other.
I just like to rub elbows with you.
And as soon as he said it, as soon as he said he knew.
crossing swords.
Foul by Tyrone Taylor.
It's a tight
Keith Hernandez knows what he's
You
doing.
never want to cross swords in the old gangbang,
No. Keith Hernandez absolutely knows what he's doing. So we got
It's a good show when we hit
we
the
got
gangbang
the-
twice on here.
get screwed by the home plate umpire and crossing swords with his play-by-play man. And then the last one is the one you referenced last week where it's An individual in the crowd eating a hot dog.
SNY. That is a $25 hot dog, folks.
Do you need a knife and fork to eat it?
My goodness.
How much meat is in a $25 hot dog? I mean, a few pounds, right?
I wasn't talking about the hot dog. SNY. That is a $25 hot dog, folks.
Do you need a knife and fork to eat it?
My goodness.
My goodness.
How much meat is in a $25 hot dog? I mean, a few pounds, right?
I wasn't talking about the hot dog.
So for those only listening to the audio version, it's an
Instagram-worthy model.
Yeah,
Instagram-worthy female.
think about what you like when
Shoving
you see
a big old wiener in her mouth.
Yeah,
We call them glizzy gobblers.
There you go. There you go. Well, I think I'm ready to just declare Keith Hernandez as horny as hell at all times.
Oh man, his wife's got him pent up, man.
Because we got Screwed, we got Crossed Swords, and we got the my goodness.
My goodness.
Just talking about.
I wasn't talking about the hot dog.
Yeah, LG. How about you? Did you finally bust the Switch 2 out that you've now had for almost a full week?
Yeah, finally. I played it one day for many, many hours. I finally got Mario Kart going and stayed up. It was like opening a Christmas gift where you just play it all night long. Yeah. Then you look up, it's like 2 a.m. Oh shit, we've been playing that long.
So is that good? The open world?
It's Mario Kart. I mean, it can only be as good as Mario Kart can be, but it's the best Mario Kart ever made, probably. So
ever made.
Yeah, well, I like the original, but
yeah, Rainbow
this is
Road.
probably technically the best Mario Kart ever made.
Yeah, so, I was watching some early reviews of some review videos of the Switch 2 and that was a burp. Specifically, the new Mario Kart, and it kind of seems like right now, like Mario Kart is really fun, but the Switch 2 isn't really worth it yet because
there's only like
there's not a game library for it.
Right,
it's like any new system. That's why they're like, I'm glad they put it out now. So then they got 6 months till Christmas to build up their game library.
Yeah, that's the big.
Well, you know why they put it out as fast as they could?
Because of the tariffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
They wanted to get it in before those tariffs.
Get them tariffs on, you know.
And I appreciate it because Christmas Switch might be more expensive than release Switch.
I know that's where
I'm gonna go loot a friggin' Walmart truck.
I mentioned, we saw Carl Schoening was with you Friday night. I saw he tweeted out yesterday he saw one in the wild at a Target in Stone Oak.
He did.
Did he buy it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did. I think he put it out there.
He didn't buy it.
Like if anybody's looking for
one.
one.
If he sees one, buy it because I'll hold on to that till Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm down to make $1 out of 2.
I don't think there's as short of a supply as people think there is, honestly.
I don't either. That's why I didn't fight through all the pre-order like I did to get a PS5 or anything.
Yeah, PS5, every new system goes through this. So you're saying this will be the first new system to come out that won't go through a supply demand where people are selling them for twice the price on eBay.
Oh, I mean, it's happening now.
Yeah, because I was. They're not
as. What are we talking about?
They're not as scarce as other systems has been, and it's also a summer release as opposed to a Christmas release. So there's less demand.
I will pay him back. Just get it, because I'm not in the wild. He's out there in Target. I haven't been into a Target I haven't been into a Walmart. I try to stay out of all those box stores.
Good man. I don't blame you. I almost texted Carl and told him, grab it from me if you can. But I noticed he had posted.
How much are they, dude?
Was it 500 LG?
500 with Mario Kart, I think. Yeah.
Man, I'd be too tempted to open it.
I wonder maybe for Wednesday's show, I wonder if we have any 1-star Switch 2 reviews out there
that's a nice little teaser.
Through. Speaking of the tariffs, though, I know LG. Not only did you buy a Switch 2, but you also capitalize on another market inefficiency right now.
Yeah, I had to take advantage of the political fire sale that is
Literal.
Elon Musk's antics.
Mm-hmm.
And I traded in my, I sold my Maverick, my Ford Maverick today, and I have my eyes on a Tesla. So
He doesn't respond to
see.
me on his show when I called it a lesbian mobile.
Well, it's because everyone knows that's Subarus. Everyone knows you're just wrong.
Yeah.
It looks like a
Absolutely
Subaru.
wrong.
It looks like a Subaru
It's
truck.
actually, yeah. Now that you say that,
it looks like a mini F-150. That's what it looks like.
Once again.
Well, never.
And I don't own it anymore.
I stand on 10 toes on that.
I signed it off to CarMax today. So.
Well, never let anyone accuse us of being of not taking advantage of good deals. Despite, I mean, like I don't
care about your politics, man. If that car is $3,000, I'm gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying?
And with the EV mandates that are probably set to expire pretty soon, and the falling stock prices, and
you think I care about?
Now is the time to buy.
Like it's like, I guess like going into Targets. Like, do you think I don't go into Targets because of their stance on pride or something? No, I don't go in there because I don't like people. You know what I'm saying? I don't like lines, and I don't like people. Like that's the reason why I don't go in there.
Well, this is always the.
I don't know their politics. I still eat Chick-fil-A. Don't like their politics. You know what I'm saying? But
which one was it?
They make good chicken.
Bud Light. It's that whole. So when they do the campaign with the influencer, but now all of a sudden because it's Post Malone, Shane Gillis, and Peyton Manning. Well, I'm back. Well, those are my people.
Those are my bros.
Yeah, like
those are my bros.
Just want to down some
have a
beers
short
with the
memory.
bros. Of course, we
the
do.
news cycle happens, but
this is at the end of it all. At the end of it all, the thing to remember is that they're all just predatorily taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
Bud Light doesn't care about. They didn't care about trans rights when they did the influencer campaign. They thought it was going to make them money. They didn't care about they just care about money.
Yeah,
all of these.
That's how I look at all this. I'm like, business.
The performative posts for Pride Month. That's all just to make money.
I don't pay attention to companies' stances, man, and like that's why I feel like I'm not going to be preyed on or succumb to. I'm not going to use X and stuff. You know why I don't use X, man? Because I barely figured out Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And I still am figuring it out. Thank you, my bar girls, for helping me figuring out Facebook. Like, to post stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, don't feed into every one little slight. They're not slighting you. They're just trying to take your money.
That's 1,000%. I will say this, talking of Tesla and Elon's crazy weekend, the whole Elon versus Trump meltdown and crash out.
Internet's winning again.
So it got me to I literally genuinely paid 100% attention to a 10-minute Alex Jones live stream.
Oh,
because
he's still on the air.
He's a bit of a psyop now, but he's.
I thought he's supposed to be in.
Well, it's amazing how
Rich
he
people.
owes like $1.5 billion, but it doesn't seem like his life has changed at all. No, I tuned in because to Alex Jones is. I've been investigating Epstein for a decade. I know Trump's not on the list, but Elon said he was. Maybe Elon knows something. Like it's like hearing trying to wrap his head around which pony to support in the race. You know, that was.
Oh my God!
That's the guy that has unique insight to the ridiculousness of the Elon Trump storyline.
There's this song, man. This AI generated Trump thing, and it's about this song, and this is where AI is just like gone off the hook. And it's the song, and it just shows them growing old and apart, and the song says it perfectly. And it looks like them in like AI form, and it's like so great. But then you're just like, AI just put this out in like half a day, you know, and all these memes and all
fast.
these like I'm just, man, that chat bizzle, man, I swear it's scaring me more and more. This AI. Like, why are we giving it so much power? Why are we giving it so much power?
Because it makes
we can't.
Our lives
give in to the
so
machines.
much easier.
We've seen The Matrix, man. I may have seen it on hallucinogens and freaked out a little bit, man. But come on.
Well, I don't think
At the movie theater, I started yelling at the screen.
I don't think you were able to. I don't think you were able to get your message loud enough back then because there weren't. Doesn't seem like there were a whole lot of lessons learned.
And I'm reading Dune right now, which is all about the thinking machines, and like it's just creeping me out still. The Dune world, Mr. Timothy Chalamet,
Timothy ChatGPT.
You know, and yeah, dude, the whole world is they got rid of thinking machines because AI took over. AI decided, hey, you guys are horrible. We're going to make it better. And they killed us all.
Well, all of the movies, Terminator, Dune, anytime AI, it's like, is there a movie where AI actually saves the world? Like, is there any? I can't think of one.
There's good things that are going to come of it, but we need to put restrictions on it now.
Oh no,
now.
No,
and this is the whole thing: is we can't do that, or we're going to lose to China. Blah blah blah. I'm just like, yo, man, let China go into AI overlord. Let's be over here, and then we can just nuke them.
No, I think if anything else,
not the Chinese, the AIs.
If anything else,
like if the AI overlord overtakes China, and like
that would only make them stronger. Like I think that's the last nail in the coffin potentially.
Damn it, that's
right. All right, we'll save the rest of the news for the lightning round. Let's talk a little sports because we're going to talk NBA Finals in the main segment, but there were actually. Mentioned the French Open final. I don't know how much of that y'all watched. That was
I got a couple
amazing.
I got a couple goody facts on that.
So Alcaraz drops the first two sets, climbs, charges all the way back, ends up repeating as French Open champion, beats Yannick Sinner in the final. And some of Alcaraz's shot making in that fifth set was
ridiculous.
Insane.
That was like Federer-ish. Like it was like a Nadal Federer mixed together.
It's almost
the pinpointness of like a Federer
and the athleticism and coverage range of Nadal, especially on clay. Seeing Alcaraz play like that at the French reminds me so much of when I first saw Nadal playing
I saw
there.
him the first time when he broke into the suite, basically I call it's the round of 8 and whatnot. And he was ranked 142nd or something. I still remember that and being like, who is this kid? Because we still had the American hope, Roddick, with his 145-mile-an-hour shots, serves. But, yeah, when Nadal broke on the scene, I was an instant fan. This game went, 5 hours and 36 minutes?
Yeah, ended up being the longest
French Open
men's
ever.
Final, yeah.
Yeah. Never before has a match been won in the French finals 2 sets down.
Right.
First to save 3 match points in the French Open final and win.
So in the fourth set, he drops the first 2 sets, wins the third set, and then in the fourth set, Sinner had a triple match point where he was up 40-love in a match winning game.
It was 5-2.
And Alcaraz came all the way back. If you watched the end of that fourth set and the crowd because the crowd was always for Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Because defending champion, Spanish,
the Spanish,
all of
French
it,
Open
right.
with the Nadal history,
and especially with the Nadal history, and it was almost like the crowd had decided that Sinner was going to win this, and they weren't turning to support Sinner, but it was like an awareness and understanding of like, okay, this is how it's going to go. Yeah. And then as Alcaraz turned it around, that crowd just swelled, and at that point, you kind of knew. Like it would have been more impressive, and McEnroe was saying this on the broadcast. It would have been more impressive if Sinner had actually recovered to win at that point, because to mentally blow all of those opportunities to end the match, you blow the third set, and then you spectacularly blow the fourth set. Well, now it's Alcaraz's to lose at that point, and it still took a tiebreaker in the fifth set, but Alcaraz rattled off the first 7 points of the tiebreaker, and wasn't much drama at that point. But yeah, Alcaraz ends up repeating 5 major championships now at the age of 22.
5-0.
Yeah.
When he goes to the
when
finals.
he makes it to the final.
Yeah.
And this is weird because, this generation of, like right now, Americans just had their, Coco Gauff on the women's side. She wins,
that was great.
beats Sabalenka.
Yeah, she lost the first set.
And then comes back and wins the last two. So American tennis, or American women, there hasn't really been a drop-off or a wave. Like, it's sustained success. Right. Right. And now it looks like there's not any gap there. But for the longest time, you mentioned Roddick. American tennis was, Agassi, Sampras. Then there was that, Blake, Roddick kind of in between. But they're, right now, the men are actually having the most sustained success they've had since Agassi and Sampras. So it's unfortunate that at the same time, this next generation of prodigies like Sinner and Alcaraz are stepping in. There's also a young Brazilian kid that's getting ready to take everything over as well. He's going to end up being a top 5 player probably consistently. And Zverev, the German, he's a little older. But a lot of these like Tiafoe, Fritz, Tommy Paul, a lot of these American tennis players outside of Shelton's still in his young 20s. But the rest of them are kind of in the later half of their 20s. So it feels like if you're ever going to get a chance at a title, you better do it now because Alcaraz already has 5 and he's only 22.
And how old is Sinner? Sinner's like 23,
23, yeah. I think a year or two older than him.
Seems like the new Nadal, Federer, Sampras.
Exactly.
Agassi type thing.
No, there's not going to be this era. Yeah, Sinner 23. There's not going to be this era of mediocrity. Like it's going, you're going from the greatest quadruplet of tennis players, and you might already have the guys in line
to take it
over
now
that are in their early 20s.
Sinner took out Joker.
And Joker put up a good fight.
Yeah. He's just like, he's getting older, man. Like, he's got to be, 38 now?
He's 39, yeah.
39.
Yeah.
Man, he can't last forever.
No, he just can't physically keep up with
and tennis
these young
used
guys.
to be such a young person's game. Like if there was only a handful of people that would go over the age of 30.
It's amazing what the Nadal, Federer, Djokovic trio. And I guess if you want to throw in Andy Murray, but to a lesser extent. But what those guys were still doing and are still doing with Djokovic. I mean, Djokovic won Olympic gold on that court last year or whatever year that was. That they had the Olympics. Yeah, that was last year in Paris. So a really, really exciting way to start off a Sunday morning. And then, unfortunately, Sunday afternoon, we saw our UTSA Roadrunners get eliminated from the college baseball tourney. This is one of those deals. Yeah, there is so much to celebrate with this season.
And we have a young team.
Of course. And assuming Hallmark doesn't go anywhere, assuming the coach stays and some consistency continues in the program, UTSA, this is what it feels like when you kind of finally break through in a college sport, where you get, the national spotlight of beating UT in the Austin Regional. That puts you now on the national spotlight. Yeah. You went out to UCLA, and by all stated metrics, you got beat by a worse team than the one you eliminated in the regional, which that's the part that sucks.
Well, that's the part of like when you need those veterans to sit there and be like, look, we defeated a giant, but we got to keep going. We're not done.
There's still more work.
Don't sit there and like blow your load, so to say.
Hi mom.
Yeah.
Hi grandma. No, I think it's one of those. It really sucks to not make it to Omaha.
Yeah.
But you still have to celebrate everything that they did this year.
You're 2 series away from Omaha. And
you're 2 wins away. I mean, it was you were. Unfortunately, they didn't win a game out in L.A. But again.
Good for them.
Yeah, like that's the women's basketball program had their best year ever on record. best regular season ever on record. The men's baseball team now, best year ever in program history. Obviously, with Jeff, Coach Traylor ahead of the football program, they just switched from Adidas to Nike. So they got Nike money coming in now.
Yeah,
so
starting to get noticed. We're starting to get noticed nationally.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's again, sucks to have your season end.
UTSA is going to jump to the Big 12 in the next year or two, I believe. I think that's just a natural progression unless we get the super conferences coming. But we also had the Canadian Open.
Who ended up winning that? The New Zealand guy, right? Fox with the New Zealand Kiwi soccer team in attendance. They just happened to be there.
Yeah, they were a rowdy little bunch, man. And it took he literally, the guy who Burns.
Yeah, it was Sam Burns.
Shot a 62.
Yeah, and he was in way early.
Way early.
Yeah.
So a 62, so that basically, for all y'all non-golf, a 72 is your par, which is a 0. So he shot a 10 under
on the
final day and was like, everybody was chasing him. Fox, the Kiwi, should have made the putt on the 17th hole. That was a 5-footer, missed it. Then drains a 17-footer to tie it on the 18th hole to go to the playoffs. Then they go shoot the 18, and they're just going back and forth, back and forth. And then he just stripes one, and it's a par 5. He stripes a wood because they keep laying up and taking their third shot to get close to hopefully get a birdie. They're not even going for the Eagles. And on the he takes, both of them are right next to each other, and they're trying to figure out which one's ahead of the other. And he pulls out the wood, and you see Burns look at him. He's like, "You away? No, you're away. You're away." Because they wanted to see that was going to be the advantage. Like if he hit the wood, and if whoever hit the wood and hit the green or goes in the drink because there was water all around,
right?
Then that person's going to lay up. The other person's going to lay up. Well, Fox, the Kiwi, is away, so he hits the wood and he puts it about 7 feet away from the pin for a shot at eagle. Yeah. And then Burns had to sit there and try to shoot it, and he didn't get anywhere close.
No, and then he ended up 3-putting.
Yeah, he basically 2-putted for the win off of 7 feet, and like he did burn it past the hole about 4 feet off on his first putt, and it's like even the announcer's like, I can't believe he hit it that hard.
Yeah, that pretty much sealed it at that point.
And this Kiwi's he's a rip it and grip it guy. Like he does not stand over the ball.
He goes
up there and just bop. I love it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, it's nice.
It's Happy Gilmore-ish. Dude.
Yeah, it's nice to have a play partner that plays like that, but it's even better to have a PGA Tour professional show that it actually can be done.
Yeah,
you don't have to overthink everything. You can just step up, rip it, and grip it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little of the NBA Finals here before we get to the lightning round. Obviously, tied 1-1. Sitting here, Wednesday night's episode we'll be doing during Game 3, which is my first problem. Game 1 was last Thursday.
Yeah, well, they didn't want to go against the UFC, which, by the way, Sugar Shane got knocked out. But I didn't really watch too much of the
Game
UFC.
1 was Thursday. Game 2, Sunday. Now Game 3, Wednesday.
They usually do this in the finals.
I know, and it drives me crazy because
they give 2 days so they can get all the media and get all the storylines and get everything moved over. Yeah.
It just in a series where already it's hard. I've got the number for you. The Game 1 ratings were the lowest rated, least watched finals opener since 1988. And that's just because that's when Nielsen began tracking it. So,
yeah.
And we've talked about that conversation, how stupid that is. They're missing good basketball. And
that was a great game.
It was a great game, and all of that. But when you're already struggling to hold a national audience attention and you have record low numbers, maybe don't take an entire week to play 2 games.
Let's keep their attention.
Let's try. You had a great Game 1. Yeah. And I know you can't change it on the fly like this, but it just feels.
I thought they had it in like And then before I realized, I was like, they do this every year in the finals. I was like, oh, they just don't want to compete with the pay-per-view UFC because Sugar Shane O'Malley, he's a big draw. But,
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he tries to looks like a little skinny Conor McGregor. A little taller and stuff, but definitely not as...
well, I've heard of Conor.
Yeah, he's not as good as Conor was. Conor was, killing it.
No, you mentioned game 1 being a great game. Yeah, the
Haliburton.
I go back to the players. The players voted on that survey.
Does he
the
just
players
talk
voted
smack?
him the most overrated player in the NBA according to his peers, and he has only gone on to have five now.
Yeah.
Game winning or game tying shots in the last minute of a game, the last 10 seconds of a game.
If they end up winning, it might be the most clutch performance from a team to come back and win games after series.
It's hard to argue.
games.
They've done it at least once every series. They did it the opener series against the Bucks. We had it where he was standing up on this, and everyone was talking about typical Haliburton, celebrating like he just won a championship for winning a first round game.
Yeah,
did it the second round. What was that? At Cleveland.
Yeah,
and
Cleveland.
Then,
he had 2. He came back twice at Cleveland.
Right.
Came back twice in New York.
And now
once
game 1, his first NBA Finals game ever, and he hits a buzzer. Well, I guess not a buzzer beater because it was point 3. Yeah. Had flashes of the point 3.
The point 4.
Anytime it's there.
Yeah.
No, I keep going back to he must just.
He rubbed
He rubbed. Apparently, everyone hates him.
Who's like the most liked person in the NBA? Let's get that.
Well, I think if you ask somebody,
did he bang his wife?
If you ask somebody on record, they all say LeBron because they don't want to piss off LeBron.
Oh yeah, but off record,
it's like, oh no, he's one of the least liked actually.
Yeah.
But we would never say that.
Yeah.
No, it's the Haliburton, and going back to
he probably ruined some kind of locker room code where it's gotten around to everyone in the team where it's like, don't say stuff around Haliburton or don't bring your girl around Haliburton or your side piece.
Well, that was who was that? D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young when they were Lakers, when Russell told everybody that Nick Young was cheating on his wife or girlfriend or whatever. Yeah. the Haliburton at this point, going back to last week when we were doing our 30 and under tiers.
Yeah.
Who would you rather right now? I know it's prisoner of the moment and everybody does this.
Yeah.
But going into next season, would you rather have Ja Morant or Tyrese Haliburton?
I know, Haliburton.
I think
Haliburton. Ja Morant didn't sit there and hit game winners and buzzer beaters in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He barely gets to the playoffs.
They were a 2 seed 2 years ago before his injury and suspension. But I hate being so caught up in the moment that you start to overvalue something.
Yeah.
But Tyrese Haliburton in the last minute of a game, I mean, we're approaching levels of comfort with him having the ball of Steph Curry. Absolutely trusting.
The game 1 with the Knicks where he literally runs back to the 3 to be like, I'm going to get this 3 and win it instead of I'm going to tie it with a 2.
Yeah,
he's like, nope, I'm gonna get behind that 3-point line. You know what I'm saying?
It's if he had a slightly smaller foot, that would have been a game winner.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous how much confidence and overconfidence he has right now, but it's well deserved.
Yeah, and it proves he proves that the old Bill Simmons line, the irrational confidence guy.
Yeah.
It's the old Vernon Maxwell or a Nick Van Exel or a guy where it's just Jason Terry was a decent example.
The great players have irrational confidence.
Right.
Where it's they're so overly confident, it's irrational.
But
those are the best players in the world.
The problem is when it's a guy that's the second guy off your bench that has that same level of irrational.
Draymond Green chucking up threes.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's come on, man.
Yeah, there's some levels to that. But at this point, Haliburton, I think, is the biggest irrational confidence guy in the league. But all of that being said about game 1, and a big story of that was, 20 turnovers in the first half?
Yeah.
but the Thunder didn't capitalize off of it. Normally,
they still got it underneath a one under 10-point game in the fourth.
And the Thunder weren't getting points off of the turnovers in the first half of that game one. It was, I think they only had what was it? I remember because they had Carlisle mic'd up in the locker room at halftime, and he pointed out, 20 turnovers, but they only got 12 points off of it or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, you commit 20 turnovers in a half against this Oklahoma City Thunder team, as young and as fast and as athletic as they are. A turnover is a fast break. Yeah. And for them, most fast breaks are easy buckets or, free throw opportunities.
Wasn't game two, the Pacers had a great field goal percentage, but they had 16 less shots.
Right. Yeah. And again,
there's the turnover.
You turn the ball over against them.
It's like you're making your shots, but it's
but it doesn't matter.
You got to hold on to the ball.
If you're taking a dozen less shots than Oklahoma City.
Someone sent me the 2006. Was it 2000? No, 2004. The Detroit Pistons defense and how ruthless they were and how they just mugged Kobe, they mugged Shaq, they mugged everybody, and they just ran to the ball, and it was relentless. And Tayshaun Prince was on them. Ben Wallace, not Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, just they just ran to the ball, and they held you at the front court, full court press constantly. And dude, it seemed effective.
Yeah, OKC has mastered. They are the current team that is best at committing so many borderline fouls.
Yeah.
That if a ref called everything,
it would slow the game down.
It puts all the pressure on the referee of you really going to call that? Are you really going to call that?
Yeah, let's just have this a tough game. Let's have a tough series.
Caruso on Jokic matchup. They have gotten away with so much physicality and contact, which I love. I'm not complaining about it because that's how basketball, I think, should be played to begin with. But it also now puts all the pressure on the officials to, if you call it a ticky-tack game, all of a sudden
you got a bad product.
It's a terrible product, right? Yeah. And the league doesn't want that.
It's like Shaq always be if they called every foul that Shaq got.
Exactly. And that's what Oklahoma City has figured out, that they can get away with quite a bit.
And they just need to tone it down a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Just that's all it is. Get on that in the fourth, then tone it down, play some solid, pick and roll.
3/4 of living on that line, and then take it down about 20% for the fourth.
About 8 minutes in. At the 8-minute mark, stop fouling.
Mentioning the Indiana turnovers, it was 20 in the first half of that game one, and then only 5 in the second half. But more importantly, they didn't commit a turnover the last 9.5 minutes of that game, which is what led. That's what allowed them to come back.
Rick Carlisle got up in that ass, man.
Carlisle's such a great coach.
He got it. Siakam was liability on defense in the first half, man. He was running around like he didn't know where his position was. He was out of position on rebounds. And, you're one of the bigs, man. You got to go down there and crash the board.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because Oklahoma City, for game 2, we saw way more of that double big lineup with Chet and Hartenstein on the court together, which puts Indiana in the position of Siakam and Turner, or Toppin and Turner, Toppin and Siakam. And I think Oklahoma City is on to something with their, changing the starting rotation for game 1 was really weird to me to begin with. Moving Case and Wallace into the starting rotation. Sticking with it for game 2 was even weirder until I saw the change in the overall change in the rotations. The more double big. Yeah, exactly. So
I think Carlisle is going to have, especially going home to Indiana. They got 2 games in Indy. And that crowd is going to be wild. You know what I'm saying?
The only crowd that's been better than them this playoff run is Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And they are going to you're going to get some home court calls, home court non-calls. So I think there'll be a counter. I think I put Rick Carlisle on the top tier of coaching, where he can sit there and adjust to your adjustments.
Oh, I don't think there's anyone better at specifically the game-to-game adjustments Like it's you're talking of active coaches now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like him, Coach Spo.
Yeah. I mean, Kerr. Yeah, I put Kerr.
Yeah.
Kerr relied a lot on Draymond and Steph.
Yeah, Kerr was more of the like. I'm thinking of guys where all of a sudden, like Udonis Haslem is starting and playing, 35 minutes in a game when he had been on your bench the first 2 games of the series. Or Carlisle did it with, random. Well, he's done it a lot, but specifically
Udoka during their. I remember even the year they didn't win. 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, Ime.
He had some good coaching changes in there and now see what he's doing in Houston. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think the game 2 result was probably the easiest Thunder to cover bet you could make this whole playoff run. After losing
bet someone, they were like, they're going to win by 20. I'm like, they're not going to win by 20. And they won by 17.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they
I was like, I almost betted some, but see, that's why I don't bet.
Well, in Vegas, this will tell you all you need to know. The game 1, it was a 8.5 or 9.5 point spread, depending on where you got it. Game 2, it was 12.5.
Oh.
So Vegas was like, okay, they're going to come out and absolutely whip that ass, which is basically there were some moments where I thought Indiana might put a run together, but
end of third, beginning of fourth,
couldn't ever get it really
just over they couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, I couldn't ever get it to consistently stay in single digits. Mm-hmm. And mentioning the ratings being predictably low, you can't help people if perfect example. When Haliburton hit that game winner in game 1, I get a text message from my uncle. It's actually a voice recording message. And he's like, holy shit, I can't believe that effing happened. Did you see that? I know you saw it. And it's that's my uncle who, NBA is below NASCAR on his pecking order.
So it's number 5.
It's number 5, exactly. It's the only thing probably lower than NBA is soccer. And I'm not even sure about that anymore. He's just not.
And that was game 1. So what game 1 was?
Last Thursday.
So there was really nothing on.
No. And so, good basketball will hold a casual viewer's attention. And that is what game 2 was. There was a lot of bad basketball.
That was bad, with all those
game
turnovers.
Game 1, there was a lot of bad basketball, but the comeback was amazing in the second half.
Yeah, so the turnovers turned me off.
That's fair.
The turnovers turned me off where, I checked out, and then I kind of, peeked back in around the fourth quarter to see peeked around the end of the third, and I was like, all right, they cutting into that lead a little bit, and I started watching a little more, and I saw them couldn't get over the hump, and then I'm like, all right, they're conceding, with 5 minutes left, you knew the game was over.
that was it. I think what was it? Was it SGA that checked out with 4.5 minutes, and they pulled everybody. Have y'all followed the battle over the Larry O'Brien trophy logos on the court? Have y'all followed any of it? Okay.
What is
Do you remember back when the NBA Finals would always put the big trophy logo on the court, on the center, and it was, around the team's logo, dead center. So I don't know the exact reasoning, but for some reason they stopped doing that. They're not doing that this year. So they didn't have it for game 1.
Why?
Exactly. It's because
did someone come? I've seen some horrible courts in this playoffs. I forget which court it was, but I'm like, man, that is distracting.
No, I don't. I mean, again, I haven't seen.
Maybe it was NCAA. No, it was.
No, I think it was just a choosing the turning game 1 on and just watching the presentation combined with Stephen A. and Kendrick pregame.
Oh, they've been getting murdered.
It's terrible.
They're it's unwatchable.
As much as I love Doris Burke, she's lost a fastball. Richard Jefferson is not good on in a broadcast team. No. And I kind of think Mike Breen is massively overrated. If he wasn't the New York Knicks guy, I don't think we would nearly think of him the way he's pretty generic, and to the point that he just yells bang or double bang. You know, it's
Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
And then he's reached the level of like Jim Nantz where I saw he was doing a media interview explaining why a certain shot didn't deserve a bang. And it's like, dude, like,
It's
you've
not
become
about you, man.
Exactly. You've become a caricature of yourself. So the pregame, halftime is awful.
Yeah.
The broadcast is bad. And then you add all of that. Also, ESPN just signed like a decade-long extension to have the final. So,
Yeah. But they're bringing in Jordan.
But, well, that's NBC. ESPN is still keeping
they're ABC.
right. But at least we'll get Kenny and Chuck. But after everything that was on my screen that made it feel like it was a Sunday afternoon regular season game in November, after all of that, I finally noticed there wasn't the trophy on the court.
So I was about to ask, who noticed it and who gave a crap?
So it started to spread. It started to spread on social like everything does, of people noticing. And it just, people like me
boycotting this.
suggesting, no boycotting, but just suggesting
this
doesn't feel like a finals game. This doesn't feel as important as it should because it doesn't look as important as it should. So the league took all of the negative attention.
Are they putting it on there?
From game one. So game two, Sunday night, last night.
2 trophies on there.
So they did, but what they did, it's a digital ad of just the NBA Finals on YouTube TV, and then it's like the script font of NBA Finals script, and they would put that on there for a quarter, and then the next quarter it was just a terrible looking like emoji of the trophy.
Oh my God.
That was just right there, like where they have like Climate Pledge Arena, and then here, on the other side where you can sell, where Elmer's sells ads for Spurs games.
So it's superimposed,
right? So if you if you took a picture of the court, it obviously isn't there. But if you took a picture of your TV, it was, and it looked awful.
Who's in a meeting in a think tank being like, hey, we could save $10,000 if we don't put the finals trophy on the court? No one will notice.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, this is not the time to scrimp and try to save money, on the finals,
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Make it the first round of the playoffs or that stupid playing tournament in December.
Oh, the play-in tournament had better. That's the other thing. The play-in tournament had better court signage to make you feel like this is something important that I should care about. That I should watch.
They put way
more effort. Maybe that's that Qatari Emirates money, since it's the Emirates Cup or whatever.
Oh my God, yeah, Emirates. They got a GDP of $50 million, but there's about $1 trillion hidden somewhere in there.
Do you have any? So before the series started, as we were previewing, talking about it, I think both of us felt pretty good about
the Pacers.
Oh,
I felt good about the Pacers, but I knew the odds were with OKC.
Yeah,
but if I was gonna sit there and be like, if it could go one way, I was like, I didn't think there was such a big gap to where it was unheard of that the Pacers could have pulled it off.
Yeah, the Pacers going into this felt like they had overachieved just to get to where they are with all the comebacks and the theatrics.
But that's how you win. They weren't the 8th seed. They were the 4th seed.
But it's how you win against teams that aren't actually the elite high end teams.
They were competing with Boston before Tatum got hurt. They did beat the best team in the East, Cleveland Cavaliers.
But again,
they were the hot. To me, I think in baseball terms or football terms. I'm like, you may have not been the favorite. You may have not had the best thing. But if you're hot at the right time,
sure,
you could take it.
Sure.
And
usually,
basketball is the only one where they can have an evening effect,
right,
where the better team usually wins. But if you're hot, you know what I'm saying?
And that's usually how a team ends up, like when you have an 8 seed Miami Heat make it to a final and then get demolished.
Yeah.
Or
that's what I'm saying.
when
They weren't an 8 seed. They weren't like, it's unheard of. Like, they had a good, solid team. They have a veteran, one of the best coaches in the league. I always go to coaches on these 7-game series. You know what I'm saying? Where the spotlight's not too bright for him. He's going to get his guys ready. He's going to sit there and whoop some ass in the locker room at halftime if you give up 19 turnovers.
All of that true. All of that being said,
it
still felt like Thunder in 5 was the safest pick. And I'm still
it is.
sitting here right now. I'm afraid we might still be looking at Thunder in 5.
I'm thinking we're getting at least 6 out of this. They're like
the Pacers
are winning one at
one
home.
good quarter.
They are going to win one at home.
One good quarter out of the 8.
They're due. I don't know if it's going to be this game. It needs to be game 3. It needs to be game 3 if it's going to go. If they have any chance of winning, they have to pull out and they have to do a good showing. They have to do a good showing and put up a double.
Yeah, you get embarrassed. You get embarrassed in the first game back home, and then the Thunder kind of feel like the inevitable is coming.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, okay, we can grab home court advantage if we can just get game 4.
Yeah,
you know?
I say all of this because this talk about the ratings being low or the Thunder not being necessarily ready to be that year-to-year. I think the Thunder. The Thunder are here. Get used to the low finals ratings because the Thunder might be playing in finals.
Get used to the refs blowing that whistle to try to not make you get there again, like the Spurs treatment did.
Yeah, eventually they'll
all
the
those
league
Clippers series.
The league will be looking to promote another team up there, and they might get a better whistle against the Thunder. But right now, the Thunder are league darlings, and I unfortunately think we should probably just get used to this.
Yeah, but I think, did you see Wemby's new haircut?
Oh yeah,
he looks like a man
with the monks, right?
Well, he's got a little art in it, man. He's got a little art. It's got a little swag on him.
Let's talk a little because we'll close it out. We'll close out the basketball talk with that. The Bill Simmons suggested that the KD to the Spurs trade might actually already be done.
Oh,
and they're waiting, and it's just a matter of once we get to draft week or draft night. Like, he's not, like, it was a throwaway comment, and I know it's immediately getting run with by the aggregators.
But my boy Lonnie called this, and I hate you.
I think, tell me why it's a bad thing. Again.
I don't want, like, KD's like a cancer. The only time he didn't cancerize a team was when he had Curry and a good a team.
Well, and that didn't end that great for them anyway.
Exactly.
Ends up leaving.
He ended up leaving, but he got 2 chips out of it. But those people were going to win a chip anyways. They already did win 2 chips. You know what I'm saying? So it's like why do we I just don't want to sully it by his antics, man.
I don't know. I think you specifically mentioned Wemby. I think if your best player says, I want to play with my favorite player of all time, and it just so happens that favorite player of all time wants to actually play in San Antonio, I think you do that without hesitation.
You think Wemby's playing that card like LeBron, I want to play with my son?
No, I think Wemby's I think one, obviously the Spurs brass knows how important KD is to Wemby as a
we give him a little present.
So there's some, the affinity that he has for KD, the player and the person. Again, I keep going back to the amount of people that were reporting that there was almost a KD to San Antonio trade at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So this has been mutual interest from Wemby, mutual interest from KD, mutual interest from the Spurs, and mutual interest from the Suns.
Yeah.
It kind of, I have no idea if Bill Simmons saying the trade is already done. I don't think that's right. But I think the tea leaves absolutely are all suggesting the Spurs are probably the top of that potential list of landing spots.
I'm going to wrap my head around this by being like, we got Chris Paul for a year to help our point guards. We're going to get KD for a couple years to help the development of Wemby's offensive game.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what I'm going to put it as. But do I think it's going to end well? Do I think it's the smart play? My first instinct's no. My first instinct's he's just a lot.
Yeah, but like you've been hoping for that 45 win
we'll get that
turnaround next year with KD. That's a little easier. That's a little easier. Well,
I'm going to push my chips in a little further on that one.
I tell you what, LG, let's save the Cowboys audio for Wednesday's show since we're already up against it. Let's get to the lightning round. Close it out here with a little lightning round. Did y'all see, it kind of snuck under the radar Friday, the NCAA got the agreement approved by the judge that has been working the case that controls athlete pay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, so officially, as of last Friday, college sports is radically different. Now, it's not NIL collectives paying the players. They can be paid directly by the university. I think it's up to $20.5 million or something like that.
Is there going to be a minimum, or is it going to be like?
There's no minimum, just a maximum. So if you have the money, you can spend it up to the $20.5 million limit, and that comes from it's a formula from it's revenue sharing is what it is, which is what. Every sport, when they go into a strike and when they can't agree on a CBA, is because they can't agree on the revenue sharing numbers.
Exactly.
So,
but that's usually like veterans minimum, rookies minimums, and all that stuff, and maximums.
So now for this, instead of it being, it controls. So now the scholarship number is capped at 105. But in the past, I should say, you can now offer 105 scholarships. In the past, it was only like 85, but you could have 120 players on your roster. So that meant, 35 of those guys are walk-ons.
Yeah, and then you
now,
redshirt all the
everybody can be on scholarship, but the number is now you can't have 120 overall players. You can only have 105. But all the big schools can just give everyone a scholarship now to pay to cover their cost.
Not bad.
No, it's... Again, it's one of those.
It's going there.
I think the ultimate test for all of this is when the Big Ten and the SEC just says, "F y'all, we're doing our own thing, and we're not going to be an NCAA. We're not going because the NCAA is just an overarching
its own entity.
Right? Yeah, there's no.
That's why they're have different overtime rules and. We can do what we want. We're the NCAA and the college, and they would give the school some, grant money and stuff like that from their revenue share, from their revenue,
right,
and whatnot. And they would give all the colleges that. But now the colleges are like, well, we can just sell our players' images and stuff like that and make our revenue there.
Yeah. See, this is where I'm really curious to see how, NIL changed so much that now this agreement, it sounds like for the coach's perspective, it provides them some clarity going forward.
Yeah.
But I think you're still the rush of people.
We're still a couple tweaks away.
Exactly.
There's a couple tweaks that need to be happened. Hit me, LG.
This is a tasty burger.
Oh, speaking of tasty burgers, how about them Philly burgers? Pittsburgh burgers with old Aaron going to the Steelers, signing like it's a big deal. You're in the lightning round, Aaron. You're not headline news. Good luck to Tomlin with that crap.
Yeah, that's such an interesting move too, because if you read, trust some of the reporting, it sounds like Rodgers wasn't even they wanted to re-sign Fields apparently.
Yeah.
And there was another one that I'd seen a Pittsburgh writer put out that was ahead of the, like, Rodgers is like a third option fallback at this point. And what was it?
17 mil. Well, it was 10 mil
10
guaranteed.
mil guaranteed.
17 mil with perks. 17 to 19 mil with perks.
Yeah, and something we're going to start in July. One of the episodes, I think on Wednesdays, we're going to start to do a division by division preview and look at some teams over unders. So, like, if you were the Pittsburgh Steelers, how much does Vegas even change your over under number based off this sign? Like, how much better does it make them 3 wins better, 1 win better? Does it move the needle whatsoever?
Oh, we're going to begin to do that through the dog days of summer, man, after the whatchamacallit.
Hit me, LG.
Lone Star.
I think he's going to have trouble finding ayahuasca in greater Pittsburgh area anyway. Another sports headline that we have missed since the last time we talked. Maybe I did. Correct me if did we talk about the Stars firing their coach, Pete DeBoer? Yeah, I think it came out after last Wednesday's episode. So it's one of those situations where, and we talked about it in the moment when the Stars got eliminated. Would you rather be a Florida Marlins fan that makes it to the playoffs once a decade, wins the World Series, but the other 9 years are dog shit awful? Or would you rather be a team that makes the playoffs 10 years of a decade, makes it to 3 straight conference finals, but can never get over that hump? And I understand the goal is winning it, and the goal, like, sure. But if you're telling me for a decade I've got to watch 9 years of a terrible product just to get one championship, I will personally always take the journey over the destination.
Yeah, that's Cowboy fan right there who sits there and tells Niner fan. It's like, oh man, you've made 3 championships, but you never won it. I'd rather be a Cowboy fan and never go to the playoffs and lose every first year.
Well, we actually won more regular season games over a 3-year period than you.
How many playoff games have you?
Terrible.
I mean,
it's awful. But I say all that just to rile you like this because I know it gets you.
But we agree on the same thing.
Sure.
All right, hit me, LG.
Well, hold on.
Oh, wait. Go for it.
On the Stars firing DeBoer, the question now is, when you have a guy that gets you to 3 straight conference finals, it's obviously, I'm not so sure it's the coaching that is the problem. There's going to be way more changes made to that roster moving forward because they got to get younger. And it sounds like they might even be looking at an internal hire, might be hiring the guy from Cedar Park from the minor league team.
Well, the fact that you signed that guy, I forget him, that went around to 3 teams and made that run. Which what was his name?
Oh, Pete DeBoer. Yeah.
No, not Pete DeBoer.
Which one?
The hockey player, the guy who set all the records.
Oh, McDavid.
Y'all hired him for a long period of time. Didn't you sign that guy that had the straight 13 straight games with an assist or a goal?
Oh, Rantanen. Crazy. Yeah, Rantanen.
Yeah,
when
y'all
they
signed him for a long year,
exactly.
So I think y'all trying to shake things up. Hit me, LG.
Oh, no! Oh. Stuck again!
Oh, my God. Almost just launched water.
Sweet Dylon. You too close, man. Got charged with
5
assault.
best rappers alive.
Got charged by assault by, guess, what kind of assault was it?
Educate me.
Strangulation. You too close, man. Yeah. You too close.
Who was that?
That was Wyclef John.
Oh,
You can either make it or you can't. Well, you want some of this hot fire right now? You want some of this hot fire? You can either make this record or you don't.
God.
Oh, you're too close, man. You're too close. He strangles him.
Yeah, it's been a bad week all around for Diddy references. He almost got kicked out of the courtroom last week, too. Bad. Hit me, LG.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Oh, speaking of, we were talking Tech baseball in your Yankee Minute with the kid, the Red Sox pitcher. Well, Tech softball went as far as they could with the best pitcher in the game, but finally...
I'm not going to say that poor girl because she's richer than both of us.
Oh, God, yeah. And they re-signed her to another million-plus year deal. She'll be back in Lubbock next year.
It's so sad they made her play three games. She played every game, and that's why, like, someone actually, my man Roland, hopefully he's listening, he's like, you taught me something. He's like, I didn't know that softball girls got to play game after game after game.
Yeah, she had 35 of their 50 regular season wins, something like that.
Exactly. And I was like, I guess the torque on the underhand pitch doesn't hurt the elbow as much. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, a breaking ball, well, you'll tear ligaments.
Yeah, I think that's without knowing too much, I think that's exactly what it is. But she'll be back. I mean, again, like that Texas,
she rich, bitch.
You have 3 games up against her, and by game 3, they almost run ruled her. So Texas clearly, that was their first softball championship. We were talking back.
That's their first.
Exactly, yeah. I was referenced.
I thought it was the first one in a long time. No,
first one.
Wow.
Yeah, first one.
Those dirty Sooners had that. Hit me, LG.
It's a trap.
Oh, man, he is podcast gold, but former NFL cornerback Adam Pac-Man Jones arrested on multiple charges, assault charges once again.
Yeah, but he wasn't even the worst former Cowboys cornerback from the weekend.
Was he a Cowboy?
Pac-Man? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jerry just signs all the leftovers.
Well, it was a weekend for leftovers because we had Greg Hardy get arrested first, and then it was Adam Pac-Man Jones, and then it was former Cowboys second-round pick, boss man fat, divide, Kelvin Joseph, who unfortunately
you kill someone?
Hit a lady on a motorcycle at about 4 a.m. and then drove 3 miles away, pulled over, waited 40 minutes before he called the police.
It's murder.
Oh, he sobered up and realized I'm not going to get away with this.
Well, apparently he called a family relative and was talking to them at where he pulled over. His car was on a rim because he clipped her with the front side of it. And it was DUI and injury or death resulting from exactly. So who could have predicted Kelvin Joseph would have been a bust when he smoked so much weed that LSU said, dude, you gotta transfer. It's not even stop. You gotta transfer. That's how he ends up at Kentucky. Hit me, LG. We'll close out with this. I know.
He was more mixed up than a milkshake.
I know I have teased that we will get to the well video.
Dun, dun, dun.
The Charles Ramsey interview in Cincinnati will not be the well video. We are closing out with that Wednesday, but not tonight. Ooh. We've got to mention before we get out of here.
He's getting it.
I got a trio of gay news to hit. We have our first openly gay mayor, Gino Ortiz Jones.
Hey, I voted for it.
What I saw, it was like 17% of the city actually voted. Yeah, 17. Eclipsed the prior record, but
it was up from the original. It was like 90,000 voted, and I think 170,000 voted this time.
Yeah, 143,000 this time.
143,000.
Yeah. She.
So many people were like, I only voted. Like, there was only 2 people on there to vote, and I was like, yeah, it's a runoff.
It's a runoff. That's how these work. She ends up getting 54% of the vote, and then other follow up. Remember when I mentioned I was going to try to apply to be a fill-in city council member for my district?
Yeah.
Missed the deadline. They actually, believe it or not, for government
work.
How
are you supposed to run the country?
They actually want you to get shit notarized and actually take it pretty serious.
They want you to do it legally?
Yeah.
They want a lawyer to look over paperwork?
It's amazing, but
oh my God, not a random Joe Schmo can
it feels like they actually
come off his podcast and start doing city work.
Yeah. Look, judging by what they actually get done, I thought I would be overqualified.
So the best thing you do is you suck up to the mayor, and then you get appointed to your position. You don't need to be elected; you get appointed to him. Hegseth.
I've always been more
Hannity,
of a county guy anyway. I'm more of a county guy. The judge
Gina.
follows us.
Let's get Gina Ortiz on our podcast, man. Then you get appointed.
She's got much bigger fish to fry. And then lastly, a update So we talked about this when it happened, the murder shooting of Jonathan Josh. I do it every dang time because I just want to say.
I didn't want to say.
I just want to say Jonathan Redcorn.
That's what I was going to say, Mr. Redcorn.
So quickly, the SAPD immediately came out right afterwards because we talked about it. His partner on social media claiming it was a hate crime. The very next day, SAPD comes out and says, no, we have no reason to believe. Well, McManus walked that back.
Yeah, and
the next day.
He sounded so humble. Like, I mean, he sounded like he just got, like, rubber hose whipped and, like, was out there like a little kid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, what was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah.
It's an interesting one, though, because reading it more, like, I didn't know this. In Texas, hate crimes aren't determined. They're determined by the prosecuting county.
Yeah.
So, like, the SAPD doesn't actually determine whether it's a hate crime or not.
They're supposed to gather the
county
evidence.
prosecutor, right.
And then the prosecutor is the one that charges it. And that's the thing. Like, they are investigators. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever a police stops you, they're in there to investigate something that might be going on illegally. So, oh, your registration was out. That's illegal. Oh, they can't just pull you over and be like, oh, it smells like weed in your car. No, that's illegal because you couldn't smell my weed going at 60 miles an hour. So they are investigative people. They're supposed to investigate crimes.
Yeah, it feels like anytime you're just dismissing something immediately,
they don't charge you
without investigating. You're probably you're at least opening yourself up to be massively wrong.
Yeah,
and it feels like that's kind of what McManus was saying in the moment or after the moment.
Kind of like
after
sending out National Guards to L.A. with no governors or mayors.
Well, maybe if the governor did his goddamn job.
And now you're going to send some Marines out there to do what?
No.
You know, half those National Guard people are just sitting around sleeping on floors. They don't have water. They're being mistreated. We're mistreating.
You are terminally online.
We are mistreating. No,
you are terminally online.
Mr. watches 4 news channels at once.
That's not online. That's a quad box on cable. On that note, get us out of here, LG. It's about that time. We'll be back Wednesday night. We've got, we'll have a NBA Finals Game 3 taking place during. We'll have some hockey to react to. We need to talk about Schottenheimer and Cowboys' new coach because he's actually been doing media.
I'm so excited.
No, you're going to enjoy it because I have some early concerns, believe it or not. We'll talk about that Wednesday.
Concerns about the Cowboys?
Believe it or not. If you want to follow along, find me on X at Biggest Puma, on Instagram, biggest.puma.
On Instagram, the Captain 210.
Appreciate y'all riding along as always. Till then.
Still working on that TikTok.
Be safe. Have a good week. We'll talk on Wednesday. Peace.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only thugs use drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah!